Warning, the primary subject of this video features a ship that is primarily acquired through gambling mechanics. The chances of winning this ship is extremely low via the lockbox, and there is no guarantees that you'll win regardless of how many times you gamble. If you think you have a problem with gambling, please stop this video and seek advice. With this warning being said, greetings and welcome to Deep Space Nine and this Star Trek Online Starship stats review video of a ship acquired via the Infinity lockbox, or secondary possibility via the exchange, however likely to be quite expensive there. Can I please give a thanks to the people that have helped to make this video possible? My donators: Negus, Dante Demonic, Skyhawking, Tribal Typhoon, XG Blackbird, Travis Games, Spike, Captain Rig, Miss Future Teach, Fox Plays Games, and Lord Arminger. All individuals that have helped support this channel via their donations and have maintained its growth. And at their generosity, allow me to introduce you to, it's been floating here for a while, the Saturn class Science Spearhead vessel. Yet another Spearhead to be introduced to the game. For those that are unaware, before we get into the deep depths of this, as this is a detailed stats review, the Spearhead classification of Starship within Star Trek Online is essentially a science variation of battlecruiser. Though it may be weak in engineering areas, it makes up for it with a predominant bias to science and also a strength in tactical. They're quite strong. Now, with this being said, we will start off by having a quick glance at customization options. Heads up warning, it's gonna be quick. Then we will go into her stats, later to discuss her trait and console. Then finally, we'll take her into action. I do want to make this very clear though. I will be keeping in mind at all times that this ship is acquired via gambling and gambling mechanics. It is a difficult to acquire ship in the game and expensive. This will affect my final score of the ship. With that being said, and a long introduction, let's get into this. So here she is, the Saturn class. Oh, sorry, I appear to have her backwards. Now why is that happening? Please tell me someone else is getting Millennium Falcon vibes from her. Or at least the vibe that she flies backwards. Because that's how she feels to me. It feels like she flies backwards. I definitely feel like, especially when they put the nameplate on the back like that, it's like, okay. Now, quick thing I want to mention here is, despite the I'm gonna say large size that she is, she's actually a small ship. Now that's an oxymoron, isn't it? Let me explain. That massive negative space in the middle there, where there is nothing going on, half expecting them to put a spore drive there eventually, or a singularity or something. I don't know. But here's the thing. That huge space takes away so much volume from the ship that honestly I wish they added into here a second hull type where you could fill that space in. Because if you did that, it should have been like a small city ship. But at this size, at this point, I imagine her to maybe be 1,000 people, 1,000 personnel on the ship. And I don't imagine this to be an actual primary Starfleet vessel in any major outfit. Mostly civilians I expect from this ship. Or at least that's the way the ship airs itself to me. Especially with the way you've got all these spaces on the ship that looks like grooves. Which I want to quickly mention in customization. If you change it in any way, say to the Janeway, they disappear. Now the Janeway looks quite good on this ship. The Galaxy looks quite good. You do have most of the legendary skins available to the ship. You've also got all the older types and the new Type 7A, which works relatively well on the ship, I will actually say. It's not great. I'm picky on it, okay? It looks good. I'm not overly keen on it. Galaxy's my favourite looking on the ship, but I also very much like throwing up Defiant just to get that sort of cherry red warp coil effect. Interesting to see the Brassards with the warp coils. Okay. Other customization issues with this ship is there is no special bridge to it. You'd have at least hoped to see a 32nd century bridge by now, or I've seen the Walker bridge available, but neither are there. Onwards and up to the stats. She really does look good from behind. That is a nice rear end. That being set aside, I probably should like this ship, all things considered, but I'm struggling to do so. Here's the thing, as I previously stated, a Spearhead is essentially science variation of battlecruiser. Taking this in a note, you basically have great scientific potential, so support is brilliant, control is brilliant, all the scientific powers are brilliant. Well supported with the ship. But then it is secondary tactical, good output and damage, and weak in engineering side of things. Yeah, okay. By all rights, that makes this ship still very versatile and useful to most players. Definitely one that I could say I'm going to recommend to a few. But let's get into those stats. She's a tier 6 type science vessel. Let's see where this is going. With the hull modifier of 1.35, giving her a level 65 hull of 60,750, a shield modifier of 1.25, turn rate of 9, impulse modifier of 0.2, inertia rating of 50. Her weapon layout is a nice 4-3, and the ability to equip dual cannons will also augment her firepower. And this can be backed up then by her bonus power settings with plus 10 to weapons and plus 10 to auxiliary. She has the secondary deflector as per usual to science vessels or modern science vessels. 3 device slots, her console layout bonuses again to the scientific side of things with 5 science consoles, 4 tactical consoles, and coming up in the rear, 2 engineering consoles. She has the, of course, being a 32nd century ship, Federation battle cloak. She is a full intel ship in essence, so it has the intelligence ship abilities, the active sensor array, sensor analysis to help bonus out some extra damage, and subsystem targeting for that little extra kick. For those who use ships in Admiralties, her Admiralty stats are Engineering 29, Tactical 46, and Science 51. Not too bad, and quite a balanced set there. Finally, to discuss on sharply, her bridge officers are, well, coming up with one very interesting area, much like you find on the Eisenberg class. We have a Ensign universal seat with pilot, in this case, specialization. Much like with the Command, actually worse. At least Command is usually worthwhile having. Pilot, Ensign, no. You'll be using the Ensign slot for basically anything but its specialization, most likely. Go on, someone prove me wrong now. She also has a lieutenant engineering seat. This not exactly great for certain ways of builds go these days, but possible to augment this out elsewhere. She has 2 lieutenant commander seats, 1 universal, 1 tactical, and finally her commander seat is a science science with intelligence specialization. If we haven't picked up on it yet, let me be very clear. She's not the fastest turning ship, admittedly, but at least she's got more turn rate than most cruisers at least. She's a little bit slow in comparison to science vessels, so that's a disappointment. Secondary deflector is definitely going to augment out her scientific damage though, as well as control or drain. Or if you really want to, shield tank. Now, here's the thing, this ship is definitely useful and you can utilize shield tanking with this ship well, but I'd probably recommend aiming towards a hybrid or regenerative tank build over a straight shield tank build, mostly because of the engineering 2. Sorry, the engineering consoles being only at 2. X upgrading, you can counter that a little bit. X upgrade, you can counter on the science side and go for 6 consoles if you really have to. Or you can have 5 tactical to do some devastating hybrid side tactical DPS potential. And though I'm not great at this myself, a friend of mine has currently broken one of his records with this ship by utilizing a combination hybrid science and tactical DPS build. Which I have to say is a nice thing to see. Support wise, this ship, it's obvious, it's a science vessel. It can easily do support, so I won't go over that too much. Safe to say that no matter what role you want to play there, you're going to be able to do it. This results in my final scorings of the ships for each of those 3 areas being support. Support, she gets 10 out of 10. Easily gets 10 out of 10 as the support vessel, no matter what you're doing. As a tank, I would separate, but in this situation I'm not going to. I will happily give her 8 out of 10. She's got great tanking ability, despite a weakness there. As a DPS vessel, again, I'm going to give her a very good score here. I'm a bit ashamed that it would be 2 Lieutenant Commander tax seats. You can still get and utilize pretty a decent amount of power out of that. Intel helps out with DPS builds as well, so that shouldn't be too bad. So I'll still give 8 out of 10 there too. 1 10 out of 10, 2 8 out of 10. Wow, she's doing really well with me, isn't she? Oh, you wait till you hear my final score. That's going to be different. With that being said though, if her stats are great, let's take a look at her console and trait. So first off, we'll talk about her console, which turned out to be stronger than I expected it to be. With a interesting passive ability of plus 5.5 to both shield and hull penetration, or Starship shield and hull penetration, allowing the Starship weapons to deal So we'll start off with her console, the Chakram projector. Hey, it actually turned out to be a little bit better than I expected it to be. I mean, disc shape AoE pet, I wasn't expecting a lot from it, but turns out better than you'd expect and useful for kinetic builds, as Boosting kinetic damage will boost the offensive power of this ship, or should I say the pet and the console. Now, the passive ability is good. Could be better, but it is good. Plus 5.5 to both shield and hull, or Starship shield and Starship hull penetration, allowing you to deal extra damage with less resistances stopping you. The active ability, deploy the Chakram projector, will activate a interesting looking pet that will quickly navigate to a foe within 5 kilometers, or quickly navigate to the closest foe, chase them down for 45 seconds, and any foe within 5 kilometers of the Chakram projector will take 230 kinetic damage with a 50% shield penetration per half second, plus a minus 35 kinetic damage resistance rating for 5 seconds. So, here's the thing. This pet lasts for 45 seconds, and if utilized effectively with decent control aspect ability, so definitely a console for control players, you can deal a very large amount of kinetic damage in a short time. And if I hadn't already made it clear, with the science spearheads being the way they are, this is one of those specific consoles where a torpedo build science control boat will be able to deal devastating amount of damage and utilize this console to its maximum effectiveness, which I want to say will allow for some next level kinetic output. Won't be absolutely amazing compared to certain other builds, but will at least bring you on par. I definitely like this console. My favourite aspect though being the fact that yes, if you utilise it with a kinetic build, you can make this pet stronger. For this reason, primarily, I'm actually going to give this console for tanks, a 4 out of 10. Not really one you'd be wanting to use as a tank, I would say. For support players, and more specifically control boats, 8 out of 10. And for kinetic DPS players specifically, 9 out of 10. For standard DPS playing though, 8 out of 10. Actually, I'll take that back. 7 out of 10. Because it's really only the passive ability for energy build DPS. Why did I go standard DPS and kinetic differently, eh? Is it because there's such a vast well of difference between them two? I'm sorry, there is. Right now, kinetic's driving forwards. Help me. Someone show me a great energy build. Now then, trait-wise. Automated triage? This is specifically a support player's trait, in my personal opinion. Automatically low hull heal to self or nearby allies. Affects friend and self with a maximum of 1 per trigger. When yourself or an ally are below 50% hull, restores 10% of the maximum hull immediately, and then restores 25% of maximum hull over 10 seconds. Once the triage has been triggered, it may not be triggered again for 60 seconds. Activating science team or intelligence bridge officer abilities will reduce the lockout duration by 10 seconds. Now, I don't believe that means if you trigger 6 science team abilities in one go, you're going to bring that down to 0 instantaneously. I mean, you can't really, but you know, you can see where I'm going with this. It will work if you use both Psi and Intel, so you can definitely deduct that down and get it down to 40 seconds. It is a pretty strong whole heal, if you bear in mind that you are restoring 35% of your hull. It's a bit of a shame that you can't sort of pick and choose the target that gets healed by this ability. It would be nice if you could literally select the target that will be affected. So you could say focus on a specific member of the team that you need to keep up. But, yeah, with that being said, it's still a very good trait. For tanks, okay, it's useful, so 6 out of 10. But it's more on the whole heal side of things, so it's not absolutely amazing. That's why it's only a bit above. DPS players, it will be useful for survivability to DPS. But obviously it's not going to really help out the DPS side itself. So, on that note, I give it again 6 out of 10. Useful for keeping DPS alive, nothing more than that. For support players, it really is specific to your role. If you're just a standard support vessel, doing anything other than healing, 6 out of 10 still. But if you are a hill boat, or a medical ship so to speak, joke around a little there, then I would give this one 8 out of 10. But only because there are much better ways in the game to deal healing to allies than automated triage. Especially when you've got consoles like the Protomatter Field Generator, which although it's a 2-minute recharge time, is a lot more effective and can affect a lot more allies all at once. It also allows you to keep other allies alive that may not be so smart, NPCs. With that being said, there's one last thing to do. Let's go into action. Oh, let's do this. Oh, look, Terran skin. Come on, Carjo, we're going to have some fun. And all things aside, this guy, yeah. There's a reason I went energy build on this ship, and we're about to display it. Take him out. Hello down there. You're on my aft. Let's just fly by, cause they're not worth worrying about. Hello again. You're not my friend. Should I deploy the chakram? You know, it'd be really good if I let that gravity well recharge. Cloak. I'll take automatic fire off. Just while I do this. Hey, Keldon. Yeah, I want your attention, but I want your attention with your friends over here. Yeah, is this all good? Yep. Okay. No? Come on. Let's all come play. Say play a little bit. And then I'll let loose the chakram. Enjoy having your fun over there. I just love the fact of watching them go down nice and quick. What did I say about kinetic damage? How's the Keldon doing? Coming over here, buddy? You want to complete too? Come on. You know you want to. Get your butt down here. Oh, I'm sorry. Did all the other ships get destroyed? Oh. Damn, it's just the Keldon. Oh, no, it's going after the Keldon now. Da 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 da. Yeah, you're gonna jam your sensors. You don't need them. It's fine. Nah. Totally worthless. Oh, don't mind me while I activate this. Let my shields recover a little bit. You enjoying yourself over there, buddy? No, you're not happy? Yeah, I didn't think you'd be that happy, actually. Yeah, let me tidy some things up for you. Oops! I didn't do it. You guys are all imagining it? That never happened? Not at all. That was definitely not a thing that just happened. Yeah. The only problem with a ship of this design is finding a spot to sit and look at it. It's a bit weird and warped. Final viewpoint on this ship is very simple. Yes, she's an amazing support vessel. Yes, she's good at tanking. Yes, she's good at DPS. So, yeah, no matter what role you fly in the game, you can easily utilize this vessel well. She's even good for new players looking for something to help try out every role in essence, at a leveling degree. I would say her low engineering aspects are probably a weak point of hers. The Ensign Universal Bridge Officer is also kind of a weak spot. But otherwise it's all made up for elsewhere. Like I said, 10 out of 10 support. 8 out of 10 both tank and DPS. Hey, if I take on her style, well, I'm not actually keen on this ship style-wise, so that gets that gets a 4 out of 10 from me there. But all over, I don't take looks into account when I give the ship its final score, if I'm honest. At least in a stats review, I don't. Visual review, I would. And I guess I just told you what the visual review score is going to be. Low. Overall, stats review score of this vessel, I'm sorry, not as high as some of you might be expecting. It's 6 out of 10. She lost 2 points by being an Infinity lockbox ship. By being locked behind a very expensive gamble. I will recommend her to tanks, DPS and support players. I will recommend her to people who are new. And for those looking for a bit of Space Barbie fun. Long-term experienced players, only if you really need the console and tray, and that makes the ship very expensive if that's all you really want. I say this because long-term experienced players are probably going to hold the ships that are better than her by now. And if I'm completely honest, I actually don't recommend her over certain other ships. There are a few ships in the... depending on the role you're trying to play, there are quite a few ships in the Infinity Lockbox set that are better than her for those roles. She's just probably one of the more flexible ones. As a result, yeah, 6 out of 10 is my final score for her. And I'm being nice because I nearly went 5 out of 10. So she's getting bonus points for actually her flexibility. That's the only thing that's properly saving her from being a 5 or lower. And once you hit 5 with me, you don't get recommended. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video and found it informative in some way. If you've got any thoughts on this ship, any opinions of your own, please share them down in the comment section. I always enjoy reading them, and they always actually help me out and give me some better insight for future reviews. Can I also say once again a massive thank you to the supporters of this channel who have helped to aid the channel via financial support. If I wouldn't be able to do this without them, so sincerely thank you. They are credited on screen right now. If you wish to join them, the links are in the description, but by no means is it a requirement to do so. For those that are wishing to remain as part of the crew, please hit that subscribe and ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on future missions. And hopefully, I'll see you all next time. Until then, ciao for now. Live long and prosper. My friends.